The city of Hayward is dealing with its graffiti problem by painting murals in areas that are the targets of taggers. And one of those places is a 4-story wall on the way into town. NBC Bay Area's Joe Rosado Jr. shows us how one artist is changing its view.
Maybe we could mix some varnish. Little thing of it. I'm an artist and I teach at Hayward High School. I used to hang out by this wall when I was a kid.
Artist Andrew Kong Knight sees a side of Hayward many others don't see.
I've always seen this wall and I thought of it as, boy, someone should do a mural on that wall.
A furniture store wall in his hometown became a blank canvas, a canvas he filled with the parts of Hayward he saw.
Not a lot of people know the beautiful aspects of Hayward, that there are these scenes. You just have to go off the beaten path a little bit.
For 6 months, Knight, his children, his friends toiled over the wall. Their inspiration, the pictures he snapped during hikes around the area.
I went with my kids that you see over there, and we went for the whole day shooting photos.
We would go miles and miles and keep on walking.
We tried to find an oak tree that looked like my sketch, that looked like the oak tree that I envisioned.
It took us like 2 days to find this one tree that he pictured in his mind.
In the end, Knight covered the wall with images of marshland, streams, and the oak tree he'd imagined.
So some people in Hayward, they asked me, where is this? And I said, it's right over there. You gotta get off this road.
The mural, sponsored by the city, greets drivers as they enter Hayward, and even under scaffolding, it's drawn admirers.
And of course, our California poppies, beautifully painted.
Yeah, I live in Fremont.
Oh, okay. Oh, in Fremont. Oh, you came all the way from Fremont over here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's great.
Some might even say the details are too accurate.
There were some hummingbirds that came by the other day, and then they sat in this tree, and we watched them zoom down to the poppies, and they were actually trying to feed on the poppies.
Knight wants the mural to bring peace and calm to drivers as they enter the city, with hopes they'll now see the same Hayward he sees. Joe Rosado Jr., NBC Bay Area News.
Oh, what a great solution, huh? Andrew Kong Knight hopes to take down the scaffolding next week, and he looks to a dedication celebration sometime in late March.
Complete Bay Area news coverage continues. This is KTVU Channel 2 News at 5.
And it's called Hayward Gateway. What it is and what the artist hopes it will do to the city.
It was a year in the making, but today a Bay Area artist unveiled a massive work of art in Hayward. Workers pulled the scaffolding off a 3,500 square foot mural on Foothill Boulevard. The painting is titled Hayward Gateway, and it shows the hills and shoreline areas of Hayward. The creator is artist Andrew Kong Knight, a Hayward native who teaches high school art. Knight says he was inspired by his walks in the Hayward Hills.
A lot of people look at the mural and wonder where this is, and I say, well, you just go up in the hills there, and then it has a view from the marshland into the bay.
City officials commissioned Knight to paint the mural as a way of discouraging graffiti and to serve as a gateway that greets thousands of people to the city of Hayward every day.
The reason I spent all this time and made them as best I possibly could was because I feel a connection to this town. I hung out at this town when I was a kid, and to have my work like this is kind of really a dream come true for me. It's a dream come true for me to be able to improve a town that I grew up in, and it's kind of, words can't express how much I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my work like this. Hi, I'm Andrew Kong Knight. I'm from Hayward, California here. This is my hometown. And I was honored to be chosen to paint this mural as well as the two other ones that you probably see on the screen there. It was a great honor to be asked to do something for my hometown. Most people don't get to change their world, and I got to change my world, of my hometown by doing these murals. Since this parking structure is adjunct to the Century Theaters, they wanted something that would be the theme of Hayward meets Hollywood. So I took aspects of Hayward, like an old theater, and I did the San Mateo Bridge there leading into Hayward, and also BART was another main inlet into Hayward, and put that leading into a theater. So the theme being Hayward meets Hollywood, I tried to combine again the theme of Hayward and Hollywood, the glamour of Hollywood, with Hayward. And the other mural that faces Foothill, it has three of what I think are the most beautiful buildings of Hayward, which is the old City Hall, the new City Hall, and All Saints Church, which just is about a block away from where we are. This work was very challenging. The work that faces Foothill there, the one that says Hayward as Hollywood Hills, it was a big challenge because of the traffic. The sidewalk is very small there, so it's not only a dangerous job of climbing scaffold, and it takes a toll on your body of climbing scaffold every day and working hours and hours, but it's also very dangerous with traffic coming by, being very close to where the scaffold is located. Yeah, and unfortunately, my fiance, my assistant, she took a fall on this mural, where she fell from the first level of the scaffold, and that was the biggest, almost biggest sacrifice that we did for this. She did for this mural, of working on it, and she fell and hit her head. So she's still recovering from that injury. That's the greatest reward on this mural, on these murals, is for people to tell me that they like them, and it's in such a prominent spot in Hayward. This is the main parking garage for the Hayward. You know, this is the heart of the city. And so again, that's why I felt a special responsibility to try to do the best I could. I just couldn't leave it less than I could do. And but I mean, we almost paid the price with Alani falling, and I'm paying the price physically for it. But I'm hoping to get better. I'm taking a rest from doing them right on the site. I have a project at a CHOA school, but it's going to be digital, so I painted it smaller, and then we're going to be blowing it up like a billboard. So that'll give my body a rest from doing actual on the mural, because it is a dangerous bit. It's 3 stories high, and so you could take a false step at any moment, and it is dangerous, being out with the cars. And now it's there, so it's mine. It's my baby when I'm working on it, and then when I finish with the murals, now it's that's everybody's, and that's what's great about public art. It's not really my art. It is my style, but it's in the mind of trying to give the public something special and something hopefully they like. And so far, most of all the feedback's been great.
Well, drive through downtown Hayward and you can't miss the 3 huge murals that's just outside the Century Plaza movie theater. Now, it was created as a way to give back to the people of the artist's hometown, which is Hayward. The mural is called Hayward Meets Hollywood and was created by artist and musician Andrew Kong Knight. And thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
This is spectacular because when you drive through, your attention is called on these murals. So, quickly, Hollywood and Hayward, how does that fit?
Well, that was the request by Stacy Bristow of the city of Hayward. She called me and said, "Hey, we want to combine Hollywood with Hayward," and so that was my job as an artist. How can I jazz up my hometown? Mm-hmm. And Hollywood to me is all about Art Deco and the style of Art Deco, and the theater itself is in a retro Deco style. It's a beautiful wall that surrounds the parking structure.
I'm anxious for people to see what we're talking about if they haven't already seen it. So we have a couple of shots here, okay. And when we take a look at it in just a second. Now, this is you're working on it, and there's the scaffolding, and you see the scale. This is a parking lot, right?
Yeah, it's the main parking structure for downtown Hayward. Okay. So it was quite an honor to do this because it's the heart of the city here.
And that picture is?
It's the
Clark Gable?
Yeah, it's that famous scene from Gone with the Wind.
And Vivian Leigh.
Yeah, and it's one of the most famous movies, so I chose that as.
And you can see that's just 2 of the 3 that you have, and it's
correct.
Huge. How big? Do you know the dimensions?
Yeah, they're approximately 50 feet across, and they're about 30 feet tall.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And we also have some video, and there is. How long did it take for you to do this? Because this is, a large project.
Yeah, from the start, when I started the sketches to the final touches and the varnish, it took over 2 years, so about 2.5 years for the whole.
Wow.
Whole completion.
Now, you couldn't have done this 2 years. I mean, solidly. You had to come back and forth, right, while you're doing other projects.
Well, yeah. Well, the other thing that goes on in my life is, besides my family, is I teach high school. I teach at the local high school, Hayward High, which isn't too far from these murals. So I did that in the morning, and then worked on these murals sometimes until late at night. Often it depended on the weather, whether I was able to work on.
And it was dangerous because your fiance, who helps you, she actually fell off the scaffolding at one point in time?
Yeah, unfortunately on the tower mural, she took a fall. It was this mural that you see on your screen here. She was doing the finishing touches, and she leaned back and unfortunately took a fall. And she's still recovering from it. It's been a year now.
Wow.
And, yeah, it's a dangerous job, not only being up high on that 3-story scaffold, but the traffic that comes by it makes it a dangerous
And this
project.
is the tower that we were talking about, so you brought one of your renderings here.
Yeah, here's this is one of the sketches. So before I go out and paint the murals, I do a lot of studies, and this is one of the studies for that tower.
And so should we tell people that your fiance actually was the model for this?
Yeah, that was pretty ironic that she was working on this tower, and she almost, she could have been killed from the scaffold.
If people walk by, can they? I understand that this figure is 3-dimensional.
Yeah, I ended up doing that figure, sculpting her right onto the wall. So you can usually tell at night because there's a light and it shines on the figure and it casts a shadow. I don't know if you have a shot of that or not. But
not right now, but I mean that is actually beautiful. So at this point in time, it's completely done.
Yes.
And people can appreciate it as they're walking around and driving by. But I understand that you haven't signed off on it yet.
Oh yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I thought it would be a good time to do it when they're doing a whole reconstruction downtown. They're widening the sidewalks, they're making it more pedestrian friendly, and I thought maybe at that time when the lighting is done, and there's going to be a big welcome to Hayward sign near these murals, and I thought that might be a good time to maybe if they have any kind of celebration, then I would mark the murals with my signature.
Oh, right, terrific. I know there's already, the grand opening and it already is there, but we have to see you actually put your signature on it. Okay, that's the finishing touch.
Yeah, that would be the last touch, and I just haven't, I never got around to it really. I'm looking for a good spot to put my mark. Yeah.
So, obviously you're an artist, you're a muralist. What are the kinds of murals that you specialize in?
Well, my murals, what makes it different is a lot of people use the paintbrush to do the murals, and what I do is I combine painting with spray painting. So, and a lot of people think of spray painting as a real new medium, like with spray cans, and a lot of youth do graffiti style art and murals with the spray. It's an ancient technique. Aborigines used to put it in their mouth, the berries, and they would spit out the paint and then make stencils with it. So I use that, which people again think of as a contemporary method.
Lesson, and I want to make sure that people know that that this is available and where you want to find out how you might be able to check out Andrew's work. So you should check out Andrew's mural, Hayward Meets Hollywood. Head over to the Century Theater in downtown Hayward, and you won't be able to miss it. It's huge. But you also find out more about Andrew's body of work by visiting his website at andrewkongknight.com.
Thanks so much for joining us on this Labor Day. I'm JANELLE Wang. Jessica Aguirre is on assignment.
And I'm Raj Mathai.
Last Labor Day, award-winning Bay Area artist Andrew Kong Knight of Hayward began preparing 2 massive walls for his mural designs. He worked on the project every day for a year, and today the murals are on display for the public. The 2 3-story high monumental murals will be seen by thousands of commuters every day. The themes of each mural combines people and landmarks of historical and contemporary Hayward with some images inspired by the glamour of Hollywood movies.
This is an original designed theater. This theater doesn't exist that I painted, but I wanted to do an original Art Deco inspired movie theater tower.
Knight's first big mural project can be seen if you enter Hayward from the north on Foothill Boulevard.
You're watching CBS 5 Eyewitness News in high definition.
And a touch of movie glamour in the East Bay. It's a mural called Hollywood Meets Hayward. Artist Andrew Kong Knight unveiled the 3-story tall artwork today at the Century Theater parking structure on Foothill Boulevard. Knight grew up in downtown Hayward.
And as a teacher, too. All right.
A Hayward artist is almost finished with his labor of love. It's called Hollywood Meets Hayward. Andrew Kong Knight is painting 3 murals on the Cinema Place parking structure. This last mural is of Clark Gable and Vivian Lee in a classic pose from Gone with the Wind. Knight felt obliged to show his love for both old Hollywood and Hayward.
This is my hometown, and this is a chance for me to express my art. I'm greatly honored to do this project.
Knight says the style is Art Deco to go with the style of that parking structure.